Hello, everybody, and thank you for that. No, and just to begin with some of the campaigns and the schedules, so like JP said, October for the International Alliance of Inhabitants is traditionally a zero eviction month. No, it's Habitat Month, but it's also zero eviction month. So that means there are a series of campaigns and activities, discussions, and mobilizations revolving around the issue of adequate housing. And of course, the issue of the persistent eviction still happening around the world and in the Asia Pacific, as we've been talking about and sharing in this webinar. No, but yes, I think it's everybody. I think it's just we should watch out for that. No, but at the same time, just to synthesize, there's already a lot has been said, and Pam also actually synthesized quite a few points when he spoke, and he offers a very optimistic view. But I think for me, it's great to hear that institutions like UN Habitat are really listening to the people and to movement-based initiatives. No? Just to recap a little bit, what we discussed today and add to what the speakers have already shared. No, like JP said earlier, there are a number of indicators that constitute SDG 11, and I would say that there's still a lot of discussion and debate on this. But at its core, all of us are looking for cities that cater to them to looking for cities to cater to democratic rights and make livable spaces. Inclusive, safe, and resilient, I think, is just another way of saying democratic, just, and pro-poor. And when we went into Catherine's discussion, no, about children in street situations, and I think there is a commonality also between her discussion and that of Varghese, in that there is a general policy of exclusion leveled against marginalized peoples. There's a policy of exclusion and different varying levels of invisibility from slums and streets, and children, men and women, and all kinds of people who live in these precarious situations being deprived of their basic rights inside cities, which are supposed to address this in various forms. No? And despite the introduction of SDGs, evictions have actually been globally increasing in frequency and in form. And we saw this also with the point made by Varghese that the pandemic actually was sort of a springboard for more forms of exploitation and deprivation of rights to take place. Many of our policymakers and officials will talk of cities, green cities, and all of these trigger words that are touting sort of the future of urban spaces. But more and more people are pushed away from their homes, away from the formal economy, and away from society at large, as though they were living. It's as though people are living a parallel existence where their rights do not apply. I think the case of India, like Varghese was saying, is also very massive and significant. It teaches us about what evictions look like as an indicator of what evictions can look like all over the Asia Pacific. No? And also, to go back to Catherine, of course, children in street situations are among the most vulnerable and overlooked in these kinds of situations and crises. To sum up also the recommendations, there are three, I would say, no? To continue the call for adequate housing, to address post-pandemic recovery and not greater deprivation, and of course, more concretely, to ensure that the issues of children in street situations, to ensure that the issues of slum dwellers and urban poor over the Asia Pacific are included in the official processes of our nations and United Nations and other country level and regional level. No? I think personally, I think there is this, many of our policymakers have this neoliberal ethic of thinking that systems and policies will sort themselves out. And that's what they teach to a lot of people. But in fact, the reality is that the structures in place are looking to deprive people of, or have been depriving people of their basic needs. And these problems will not fix themselves. The need for recognition of these issues is of prime importance, and it will be a disservice to all of us if these matters continue to be left behind.